Welcome to the webinar here. My name's Ephraim. I'm the founder of Day Trade Like a Pro. There's a bunch of you that I obviously know, and some of you that I haven't talked with in a long time, and some of you that are brand new, and this is maybe your first time here on a live webinar with us. So wherever you fit into that, welcome. But it's important that you understand the risk in trading futures and that you could lose all of your money or more than all of your money. And that isn't just a thing that is said so we make sure we're covering ourselves. You really can lose more than all your money. You can go to members.daytradelikeapro.com/risk disclosure and you can read the risk disclosure. Also, the disclosures are on every page of the website at the bottom. As you can see right here, full risk disclosure. Stop me and we'll jump in. So
Absolutely.
again, welcome. I'm Ephraim. David is also here. David is the glue that makes Day Trade Like a Pro work. Don't know what we would be doing if we didn't have David. So he's really the guy. He's the one behind the scenes that makes it all happen. We're going to cover today how to read the market using our proprietary approach, how to identify trades based on that analysis. And then we want to spend a lot of time answering questions that you have about prediction points and how to trade them. And then I'm going to show you a bonus, which is a valuable lesson that you can learn from a mistake that I made today. And so we're going to get right into that part. If you have a question, let's just have you put it in the chat. I do want to make sure that we answer your questions. So if you have a question, go ahead, put it in the chat box. David will make sure we get to those. So let's just jump in right here. So the key criteria for any trading system, for a lot of you, this will look familiar. You really need any trading system to answer these questions. Number one, where's the market going? And if you can't answer that, I don't really know how you trade. I guess you just guess or something. I don't know. It's been a minute since I traded that way. So where can I enter? So you got to know where's the market going and where can you get on that train? And then the third thing, sort of a bonus thing, is by when is it going to get there? And so what we really want to do today is we want to look and see how prediction points hold up. We're going to do some training. I'm going to review we had 2 live trade signals today, and I'm going to review both of those. Let's jump over to some charts here. We're going to go build this out on a chart, and then we'll come back to this one. So this is the S&P. This looks like there's a lot going on, but I'll break it all down and it'll make sense before we're done here. Let me ask this, is there a market that somebody wants to go look at very first? I was going to look at the NASDAQ, I was going to look at the Russell, and I have not honestly looked at all at the Dow today. And so that might be something for us to go look at because I really don't know what that chart looks like. But I thought we'd kind of go discover some of that together. I know the NASDAQ's popular. Let's start off with a Russell chart. I don't want to cover too much of what we have in the course and in the we have 2 different trainings that you have access to if you are on a trial of prediction points. So I don't want to cover too much of that. This is not a good market to look at. So let's not look at that one to start off. Let's go look at the NASDAQ and see what this looks like. All right, so I said that wasn't a good one to look at because I wanted something that had a little bit more of a clear picture for prediction points and how we look at prediction points. So this is crude oil, and this is today. This is just a really simple 5-minute chart on crude oil. And this is good. We'll just go with this. I'm not entirely sure why I have volume on there because I don't use that. But here we go. On crude, so let's start at the very beginning, the basics. The way prediction points work are that we have CPs, which we call critical prices, and we have KPs, which we call key prices. And the KPs on my chart are this white dotted line, and the CPs are the blue dotted lines. And overall, the theory is that the market is going to trade from blue line to blue line. And so let me show you, where's our next blue line up here? Oh, this isn't working right. All right, back to the NASDAQ. I like to do it like this because I don't want it to seem like we're basically have something rehearsed. where we go like, we're just going to show you the best stuff. And you can clearly see that's not what we're trying to show you. Okay. Let me point out a couple of things. So we have the CP. What I noticed sort of right out of the gate here is, if I'm going back, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to think, okay, we have the CP. Now this is yesterday, but these are today's prices. So we have the CP and I'm thinking, where's the next CP? Well, it's up here. Okay, so these two CPs. Where's the one below it? Down here. So this is really fairly simple. If we can hold above this CP, then we should go up to here, minimum. And if the market were to break below this, we should go down to here. That gives me the beginning of starting to answer the question, where is the market going? It's going up to here. Now, having said that, I want to be a buyer. That's how I want to trade this. I want to be buying for a move up to that. Okay. So where can I buy? Well, there's a big gap between here. Do you notice that? So this would be these two prices together. We would expect if the market came down here that it would consolidate a bit down in here. And notice there's a pretty decent gap. So this space in here is what I'm referring to when I talk about a gap. Okay. So right here, that's a gap. There's a big gap between this KP and that CP. There's a big gap there. All right. So that's what I'm referring to when I say there's a gap. So a couple of tricks. First thing I'd do is I'd look at this. This is something that Omega has done that he likes a lot. I'm going to just put in this green line, which is going to be 50% between the prediction points. So that would be one level that I'm looking at. But remember where I'm targeting this blue line. So I basically want to be buying for this blue line up there unless something breaks below this, and then I would want to be selling. So I know I could buy here. That's one area I could buy. We could split this again, which you can kind of see there was a reaction here, but I'm not going to do that. That's not how I would do it. Now, we had made a ridiculous offer that if you bought a trial to the live trade signals, which by the way has paid for itself like 10 times over, I think, in the last week or the last, 3 days? I don't know how long it's been. It's paid for itself at this point. We made an offer that if you did that, we were going to give you a course that I taught, and that course was $1,000, and we're giving it to you. If you took the live trade signals trial, we're giving that course to you for free. So you get a $1,000 course for $147, and you get the live trade signals. So if you didn't do that, you should go sign up for it. I think it's good through tomorrow. I'm going to tell you to do that probably 10 more times today. So just plan on me telling you to do that more. And you really should go sign up for that.
It's an
incredible value. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. When you see what I'm going to show you today, all of our live trade signals trades come out of that methodology. So let me show you this. This is a shortcut on the key in NinjaTrader. It's F9. And I've customized this, and I'm not going to go into this because I literally have gone through it in detail in the course. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. I'm not going to tell you why I'm doing all of this because it's all in the course. But I'm going to measure from right here to right there, and then back to this prediction point. So I like any of these areas for buying. I like this. So any of these levels, okay? So I'm going to remove this X, but just know that I like buying anywhere of these levels. I like buying. And these levels are all generated using prediction points because I'm measuring this break below the prediction point and back to the prediction point. Now, if you were in the course, you'll notice something. I've changed a few things, which is my T1. And by the way, I actually did one other thing just to show you, because I think this will make a difference for you. I have a template for short, and then my default template is for long, since we're basically buying every day these days. And that might switch at some point, but for now. So what I do is I do the same colors. I do green, magenta, orange, and pink, and that's T1, T2, T3, T4. So T is target. Okay, target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. And what it does is then for when I'm selling, I have a dot, and then I have dash. If you look right here, see how I have dashes right there on the ones for buying. So if it's going up, it's dash, and if it's going down, it's dotted. And that means I can literally look at it and I can go, it's a green dotted line, and I know that's a T1 to the downside. So to me, I color coded it in a way that made sense to me. Okay, so let's just see what happens. So here's coming right off the midpoint. That's midnight, coming right off of that midpoint. I'm also going to measure now for a target to the upside, which I should have already done this, but I'm going to use this right here to there. I haven't seen this yet today, guys, so I'm doing this for the literal first time right now. We're going to just find out how this is. So I'm thinking 35, 374, and it might be off a point or two because of the way I didn't go in and check that I got the right tick, but you get the idea. So that's my green target is my minimum, and we haven't gotten to that. So I think we've come 5 points away from it. So we haven't gotten there. So that's going to be the minimum for my move up. So if I'm buying here, I'm looking for a move up to there. And let's see. This is also going to give us a monster target if we remeasure this right here. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but just know I just drew that in right there. I draw a few things around and I just kind of see, like, is something making sense? It's close enough to everything else that I don't really care about it, so I'm not going to put it on there. Okay, so then where does it come back to? So they buy it off the midpoint. Notice this one comes right here off of the magenta line, the target to, and then right here we have 312, and the low right there was 306. So 6 points on the Dow. That's nothing. We should get to this green line up here. It might come down lower, but we should get to that green line up there. So let's see how this goes. There we go, comes down to the tick. Okay, now probes through it, hanging around here. Okay, so what are they gonna do? Holding below the green line, comes down one more time, spikes down here to magenta, 285, that's 284. It was 1 point away. That's pretty close, isn't it? And I might even have this a point off, so it could be the exact tick, but whatever. You get the idea either way. Then a little bit of a pullback to right here again. There we go. So then market goes up. Look at the reaction off of the green line. Do you see that? There's your target one. Look at the reaction. So I'm buying here. Remember we talked about, if you were on the webinar with NinjaTrader, I'm really only entering one of three ways. I'm either entering on a limit order right here, or I'm entering on a limit order below the level a little bit. Like it'll go, if it comes a little bit below and probes below it, I might get in a little bit below that level. So I'm entering somewhere in here. Let's say on the S&P, that's what I use. It's a $50 point value. And I would say within about a point on either side, I'm fine entering on either side of it within about a point. Okay. And then the other way to enter would be like if you didn't do anything here, then you get this spike down right here. You can always buy it on the way back up. So you can just have an order sitting above here. So when it comes back up, boom, it's going to be a buy stop, and that's going to push it up there. Or my more preferred way to do it is you get this move up here, and then I want to put a limit order right here or just in front of that. And then this market comes down, bam, tags that limit order, and then takes off. Okay, is that clear? Let me pause for a second. It's a lot to take in maybe.
I had a question about why did you use that move up versus the first move up?
There's no break above. This is the first break above here. Is that the one you're asking about, Ty?
So the first is just a probe.
Right here? Yeah, in hindsight, I'd say that's not a break at all. I'd say that's just a little probe up above the level, and I wouldn't consider that a break.
Oh, the one on the prior day at 1300. That's the prior day. So you're not using it because it's prior day there. Back to 1300, left, right, left.
Oh, keep going left this way?
Nope, stop.
Oh, right here.
The time. Yeah, not that
yeah,
one because it's prior day.
Yeah, Ty, if that's your question right here, okay, great. Ty, if you're asking why I didn't measure that, is that what you're asking? Yeah, great, because that's the day before. So I'm just starting from Globex right there, and I'm just looking at Globex. So I measured that first break, and then I measured that break. And you remember in the course we talked about, I'm measuring, also this is really unrealistic for Globex. You know, like to measure this and think we're gonna get this move in Globex right there, it's unrealistic. I can't even see where the target is. It's way up out of the screen. So I can't even see this at all. Like it's too far. It's not realistic. I mean, maybe once in a while you get a Globex session like that, but like, yeah, I'm not planning on that. This seems much more realistic. These are much more realistic Globex numbers that I'm looking at right here. That's why I used this measurement. And so I measured here the first break, and then I measured that first break. And there's been a lot of questions, I think, over time, since, you know, so a number of you were in the course and a number of you are in Live Trade Signals and have access to this. So there have been a lot of questions about what should I measure or whatever. I kind of just measure it all. What I keep on there is the stuff that looks really good to me. And so there's a little bit of an art to it, but it's also, there's a science to it as well. So you have to, I know I measured this break already right here, but you got to measure this break. This is such a good leg up. You really have to measure that break. So I would measure that one as well. Okay. See the difference? I mean, like, what's going to be more reliable? Like, this is going to be good. Usually those ones in early Globex are really good measurements, but this is just such a good leg. I really want to measure that. I measured from there up to there. And also I love measuring coming off of the low, and this is coming off of the low in Globex so far. So yeah, it's going to turn out to be real good. Okay, great. So we get this move down here. So what's happening? You're buying, you can buy here, you can buy here, you can buy here, whatever, just get in the thing, right? So all those levels you can use to buy. You know, the thing is a lot of traders get hung up on where should I get in? Where should I get in? This tick or that tick? Okay, whatever. If it goes to the target, does it really matter? And how often is it going to the target? You know, Jaime and I just led a course where we got really deep and, you know, really in the weeds around a lot of the stats that traders are keeping. Jaime, I don't know, what would you say, like on average, would you say that like the traders were probably right about the direction? Like I'd say on average, 60 or 70% of the time, and that's probably low. Yeah, so Jaime just said 60. But we had a lot of traders that were like over 80% accuracy on their targets getting hit. If your target gets hit 80% of the time, what does it matter which tick you got in at? It's the wrong thing to be worried about. So I wouldn't be too hung up on this tick or that tick. I'd be hung up on, do you know where the market's going? And then figure out a decent place that you can get in. I had to go through a lot of therapy to get to that place to be able to say that, okay? Because I was the guy that would miss a, you know, a 300-point move on the NASDAQ because of one tick. It's not like I'm talking about things I don't know about here. So here's the measurement. It's the only ones that we have. So here's target 1, and then we have this one, that one. But I basically am always thinking target 1s are going to get hit. You know, that's pretty much the way I'm always thinking about it. So what happens? We get the open, it spikes up. Where does it spike up to? Target 1. Well, that's a shocker. I literally told you when the market was like over here that we were going to go up and hit this. And then it literally came all the way down here to 35, let's call it 280. And we already knew it was going to basically 380. So we already knew there was a 100-point move coming off of this low up to there on the Dow. That's cheating, you know? And then what happens right at the open? It spikes up here. Oh, there we go. Spikes up. Let's get rid of that one. Spikes up, spikes through that just a little bit, comes back down to the KP right there. Where are we going next? Let me show you. We're going to this magical place called Target 1. I could do this any day, guys. This isn't because today and I'm getting lucky. This is every single day. It's the same thing. By the way, how far away is that? Let's just call it 435, 430, whatever, 430. And you can get in here at 340. It's another 90 points. So we already know there's a 100-point target up there. It's crazy. Okay, so let's see what happens. So coming right off of here, you can get in here, you have a 100-point target. I don't know, risk 10 or 20 points for a 100-point target up there, okay? Big move. Why does it go through the CP? Because it's going to this target. And if you're just using prediction points and you don't have the targets, you're seriously missing out. The prediction points, the entire reason I use prediction points is to generate targets. I almost never trade off of them anymore. I purely use them for targets. I mean, once in a while I'll use them for a trade, but for the most part, targets. So what happens? The target here was 434, and what was the high? 36, 2 points. And then pulled back a little bit. Okay, so there's been a lot that's gone on. So let's go back, and I don't want to spend too much time here. There was another break. So let's measure this break above the CP and just see how it plays out. So let's measure from here. I kind of want to measure from right there because it pulled back a little bit, but let's go. So this is one of those things where I would draw this one in to be conservative as a target, but then I'd be watching this one as well. So let's go to this one, and if it doesn't get there, we'll go back and redraw it, okay? Oh, and it goes up to there too, and it went up to there. So I draw all of those. I draw it to here, I draw it to there, and I draw it to there, and I pay attention to all of them. If you're in map, you've noticed I've kind of gotten away from giving all those prices because I don't want you to have too much, because really this should be the target right here, okay? And I don't know that we get that far today, but let's see. It's this right here. So we didn't quite get to there today, but we also had this T2 that was in the way, kind of preventing that from happening. So we still have this target up here. By the way, I bet
if you draw it to the lower one, it gets
bet if I draw it to this one and bring it back down to, where are we? Okay, good. So this is good. To me, what I'm looking at is I'm thinking, all right, there's definitely, let's go like that. There's unfinished business, okay? So there's T1, there's the most conservative T1, it took that out. There's the second T1 off of that, but it didn't. So I think we have unfinished business up here higher. Like we gotta keep going higher up here. Just from, initially looking at it here. You see this one, we didn't quite get to that. Let me show you something. So I'm gonna draw this one. This is why I draw all of these to there, to there. If this is confusing to you, just go by the course and watch the course. And where is this? This is right here. So 537, and what was the high of the day? 541. So we missed by 4 points. Don't you hate that, David? Hate missing it by 4 points. Really, though. Just bothers me. And then notice what happened. It went from this T1 and came back to this T1. I'll show you something else that happened on the Russell and the S&P. And it didn't really go anywhere. But it went from this T1 to that T1. Just remarkable. That was to the tick, and then it came up. I mean, it's really just incredible to me. No matter how long I do this, it just blows me away every time. Every time.
Go through the other markets, and I think, I don't know, my thought is what might be most valuable is go to the ES and go to your methodology for identifying the live trade signal. Say,
guys, I'm not going to explain to you how I drew everything that I drew for this move, for where all of these targets came from. I will just show you this, and then I'm going to show you something on the Russell, and then I'm going to show you the live trade signals trades. I drew this first break of the CP down to there, back to the CP. Target 1, target 2, target 3. And then you'll also see I drew this break below the CP, which gave us target 1 right there. And drum roll, please. That's the low of the morning. So that's Globex low right there to the tick. So it happened to be a T3 and a T1 to the tick. So T1 and T3 lined up perfectly.
We have a good question here from, I know a lot of our traders use Lilu or TopStep or Apex and trade the funded accounts, especially on the eval side. And the question that came in is, how would you have actually traded this with a $3,000 drawdown?
This is my opinion about it. So the answer is there's a lot of ways, but first of all, I wouldn't, because I'm in bed at this time. This is midnight for me. Jaime's day is just getting going at midnight, but my day is long over by midnight. So I wouldn't have traded this because I would have been sleeping. But that's a great question. So if I have a $3,000 drawdown, what do I need to make? $600 a day if I'm doing it in 10 days, $300 a day if I'm doing it in 20 days. And so I'm thinking I need to make $300 a day. So I think, okay, $300 a day. How many points do I need to make on one contract? I need to make 6 points. That feels unrealistic to me. I'm going to pause and let that sink in. A lot of you are trying to win the gold medal, and it's like, first you might just want to make it to the Olympics. That would be a good place to start. What's something super, super easy, achievable that you could do? Jaime, can I put you on the spot? What's your biggest NASDAQ trade that you've won? What's your biggest winner? Like, not dollar-wise, just how many points? Jaime's one of the coaches at Day Trade Like a Pro. He also started just like anybody else. 50 points, he trailed out, and he just recently did that. And a normal trade for you is going to be 20 points. Is that right? So you're basically taking 20 points. And you've qualified a bunch of these. Yeah, you've qualified a bunch of these accounts by just saying, I need to make 300 bucks a day. I'm going to make my 300 bucks and be done. So my answer, James, is really pretty simple. I would say, by the way, I just qualified. I think I qualified 5 more PA accounts in the last couple of days. Again, not something I'm talking about like I don't know anything about it, but to me, it's like free money. Why would you not do it? But it's probably another topic for another day. If I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, this is really simple. How would I have traded it? I would have said, I need to make $6,000 to make profit on this thing. By the way, I mean, since you're asking, I hate the $100,000 account. Why would you not do the $50,000 account? You can trade 8 contracts if you want, and you can lose 2,500 and you only have to make 3 grand. So do 2 of those. You only have to make 6,000 and you can lose 5,000 if you do 2 of those. So personally, I'd way rather do that, but whatever. It's the best odds really of passing. You only have to make 500 bucks more than what you're losing. So that's all I do anymore. All I do are the $50,000 accounts. They're the easiest ones to qualify. It's just statistically, it's what makes the absolute most sense. So that's why I do it that way. I would really just do it simply like this. If I needed to make 300 bucks that day, because I'm going to do that for 20 days to make 6,000, I'm going to trade a 2 lot and I'm going to have a stop loss and I'm going to have a profit target. And I'm really literally going to just try to make my 300 bucks. So market comes down here. I like it. I'm going to buy it. I actually would have been in over here because I would have gotten filled over here. This is when our little putting the stop below the swing can get a little tricky because sometimes it comes 1 tick away and then it comes down and actually tags it. And there you go. So sometimes that happens once in a while. That's why we try to stay a little bit below it because this could have easily been right there. So likely, if I'm trading this, I have a limit order right here and I have a stop right below it. And if you guys are in live trade signals, that's like an absolutely typical live trade signals. We only trade live trade signals one way. And it's so hard. I was talking the other day to somebody about live trade signals. I was talking with Dawn about it, and I said the thing about live trade signals is it's like being a tennis coach and saying, okay, the next ball that comes over the net, I want you to hit it back forehanded. And it's like, if you know anything about tennis, that's really hard because what if the next ball you need to hit backhanded? Somehow been able to make money doing live trade signals, which is pretty much like telling you if you're an MMA fighter to say, okay, dodge left and then punch with your right hand. And it's like, what if the guy is like going to roundhouse kick you in the head on the left side? Like you're going to get knocked out. And so I don't know how we've been able to make a go of it with live trade signals. I think it's amazing, but this is a typical live trade signals. It's only because the methodology works. Anything I have done has hindered the performance of live trade signals, as we'll make evident today. So right here, I would have had a limit order in here. And if I have two contracts on, I only need to make 300 bucks. Plus I need to cover my commissions or whatever. So I need to make $305 or $10 or whatever. So I don't need a big move here. You know, it's $100 a point. I needed to move 3 points and a tick. Let's say 3 points and 2 ticks just to be safe. So I'm in at 04.5 and then I would just ride this out personally. So I'd be in right here. I'm riding it out and then I would 04.5. Yeah, so perfect. So then I would be able to have my profit target right in front of this 07 quarter, which or right at 07 quarter, which 07.5 is right there. And so then I would have been long from here and taken my profit there. And it's important, I think, because I'd close it out at max profit, which is, you know, it'd be up $325 minus commissions on that trade. And I would have closed it at the maximum point of profit in the trade. And you do that every day for 20 days. That's how you pass those. And if you lose, you have to just, you know, you keep trade. So if that trade gets stopped out, okay, fine, do another trade. Is there room to go for 5 points on that trade? We'll talk about that. We'll kind of get to that. But what I'd be trying to do if I'm trying to pass these accounts with these funding companies, I'd be trying to hit my daily profit and hang it up. And I'd do that for 10 or 20 days. See, I don't like trading a 4 lot here because it's too much size. If you're trying to, if you can only lose 3 grand and you're trading a 4 lot, it's just, it's 15 points and you're done, you're smoked. Go for it, but plan on resetting because that's likely the way that it's going to end up happening. by the way, if I miss that one, let's say I was asleep, but then I wake up really early and I come down to work at 1:30, notice where this happens? Right here. Just move right off of here. So that would be another area that I could buy and then look for a move up to here, 12.75. Okay, so I just wanted to point one thing out. See right here, this market came off of a T3. Let me show you one other thing. This is the RTY, and let me show you something. So this is prediction points for today loaded on the Russell. Here's the open of Globex, and the first thing to measure for a break to the downside would be from right here to right there to right there, back to the KP. So here's target 1, there's target 2, and oh wait, what just happened? And there's target 3. So the Russell comes right off target 3 within, shoot, what is that? The low is 64.9, so 1 tick. So the Russell comes right off that by 1 tick and takes off. And then you didn't get that, okay, get this one. It comes off the CP2, the tick right there. Didn't get that, get this one. Comes off of this target 1 right there. This also, I didn't measure this, but I bet, we're gonna get back over to the S&P, but I bet this looks pretty good. So there's that. Oh, and then look, it pulled right back to there. So there's target 3. So high of the day is target 3. Low of Globex is target 3. Are you noticing anything? I mean, high of the day within what? We have 92.7 and it was 94.1. It's close enough for me. You got filled. If you were, I mean, I don't know why you'd be shorting it, but if you were trying to buy it for a move up to there, you got filled. Okay, so let me show you what we did in the live trade signals. Was anyone freaking out when this happened? Anybody? What were you all thinking when this was happening? Remember what the NASDAQ looked like? Oh, by the way, no, that's not the Dow. Can I just show you a thing of beauty here on the NASDAQ? I had these drawn in, but I erased them so we could go back and look at them together. So I drew just that first break below. Oh, was that the first break right there? Yeah, so I drew both of those, but this looked like a really good leg to me down here. So look at the low on the NASDAQ, T4 within, what is that? 19.75, 19, within 3 ticks. T4, which we got at Globex at, when that candle closed at, what is that? 2 hours into Globex, low of the day, T4. Pretty amazing. There's other stuff we could show on this, but just in the interest of time, we'll kind of jump over here. Okay, we'll go back over to the S&P and go look at this. I said, what were you thinking when this was happening? So Aaron asked if I would walk through how to set up the fib tool. Yes, in the course, I show exactly how to do it. I'm not going to do it right now. If we have time at the end, I might jump over there, but in the course, we walk through how to do it all. Steve said huge momentum to the downside. He said a rush and feeling of huge momentum to the downside. How many of you were thinking this is going to be a really good buy opportunity? Like how many of you were just like, I mean, when it was happening, you know, because at one point that was a big blue candle as well. How many of you were thinking, wow, I better be buying here? Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to show you the live trade signals so you can see it. You can see when this was posted at 6:54 in the morning. I'm on Pacific time. I live in Paradise, which is also known as San Diego. Okay, so at 6:54 this morning, Pacific time, we posted a buy here at 18.50. I'm going to get back to that one in a minute. And then we posted this buy at 15.5. We said the target was 18 and 29. And then we had a stop 2 points below that at 13.5. Anyone notice where that may have come from? You know, somebody asked, how would I have traded this over here? I said I would have had an order sitting here and I would have bought here and then I would have had a target. And I would have had a stop a couple points below that. That's how I would have traded it. So as this was dropping here, by the way, just to put things in perspective, we gave that signal here. This was when we posted it in live trade signals. The market came down. We were using this 1550 level right here. And then the market came back over here at 1020. So about 3 hours and 20 minutes later, almost 3.5 hours later. So this is 1550, the purple line to the tick. So that's 1550. So it probed 2 ticks below there. And then it just sort of ripped right out of here. and our target was 29, which was 2 ticks in front of this target 4 up here. And there you go. Came right up here, 29.50. So it went to 29.75. So went through it by 3 ticks. So definitely filled. And then at the end, it spiked up right here. So on this one, you had 2.5 points on your first target, and then you had 13.5 points up to 29, which got filled over here. That one trade was all used. You can see the entry was off of the target. If you were using the prediction point here at 14.50 and you were 2 ticks in front of it, you may not have gotten filled. And so that's why we do this with the targets. And then this target maybe got filled if you held for this CP over here, because it did use that to the tick later on. But would you have really held through all this? Would you have gotten in at 15 and been up to 29 and held all the way back to 21 and then up to there? Maybe you would have, but that's why we have these numbers. So this seemed like a pretty realistic target. That was the live trade signals trade. I think 16 points on this one. Let me show you the one that wasn't so great. Actually, the trade was fantastic. It's just that I got in the way of it. Okay, so we had another trade, if you remember. We had a trade here at 18.5, and then we had the stop at 16.5, 18.5 right here. Okay, so let me just break this down minute by minute. We're gonna have to look at it like that. So here's a 1 minute. So that's just here's a little secret, something we came up with in live trade signals. Basically, when we get a move down, we're buying 18.50 right here, and then it spiked off of here. And what I should have done is put the stop just 2 ticks below this, which is what we normally do anyway. So I should have had the stop here at 17.50. But let me just, in my defense, I saw this move. I mean, I saw that move down, and then it came down, and then I saw this move down, and then it came back down, and then I saw that, and I thought, if it comes back down, I probably don't want it anymore at this point. And I thought, and it was such a good reaction. It was like literally 1 tick away or a couple of ticks away from hitting the profit target. And I was like, if it comes back down, we don't really want it. So instead of putting my stop here like I should have, I thought I knew better than the market, and we put it up here. And it came down and tagged it within 1 tick. Oh, where did it hit? 18.25. That's our T1. And then it went up to the target. They have a private room where they make fun of me for doing things like this. So I've been saving all the evidence, so one day I can show it all. But I mean, look, it's just the reality of trading. So here's a trick that I think has been really useful, and it's probably made a big difference for us in our live trade signals trades. We put you guys think I'm joking about the room where they make fun of me. This is a true story. David can tell you it's the truth. I don't know if he'll admit to it, but he's not really part of it, but he definitely sees it. Here you have this move down here. We should have kept this stop just right down below here. That's been a thing that we've done a lot of. And David, I mean, don't you think that's made the difference in the performance of live trade signals?
Yep. It's an automatic rule that we have where market moves 2 points in your favor. You move it to a point, 2 ticks below the swing low, and it keeps you in trades. Typically keeps you in trades you want to stay in, and gets you out of trades you typically want to be out of.
Yeah. Yeah, and it and especially when it's like this, you can do it. Like that would have been a point of risk, and I should have just kept it like that, and I didn't. I did that because I knew we were going to be teaching this today, and I wanted to have a valuable lesson that I could teach you. So tomorrow I won't be doing that, okay? But no, I think that's part of it, is the reality, just thinking sometimes I know better than the market, or I think like that's good enough or whatever. I should have just left it. It happens to every trader at some point. But that was a great trade as well. The target was 29, and it did go hit 29. Another really good one. If you didn't follow what I told you to do in the live trade signals, you had a really nice 10-point winner right there. The irony is I don't move my stop up personally. It's mental. It's a mental stop for me. And I saw it kind of spike down there and hit it 2 more times. And I was like, yeah, I still like it. And so I personally held it, which is just one of the hard things about doing live trade signals. Just one of the difficult things about it. So I don't know if we'll ever get away from that. So Diana is asking a question about the tool that I'm using. It's really simple. This tool that I'm using in here is just a fib extension tool that I customized. In NinjaTrader, the shortcut is F9. And then you can go down here and you can go to the price levels and you can customize it. And you can see I've customized mine here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so you can see 100, 200, 300, and 400. And so you can just see I've customized my tool that way. So just a fib extension tool, and then I customized it and saved it as the default. And do whatever colors you want. I like it because, and I recently, like as of this week, literally, I used to have it where it was like all white. And if you go take the course, you'll see. But I like having the colors because I can literally go, like, I know what every one of these are. Dotted or dashed green line, I know that's a T1 on buy side. But dotted green line, I know that's a T1 to the downside. Do whatever makes sense for you. That's what makes sense for me. You might do a solid line and a dash, or a solid and a dotted, or whatever. But
And
that's
for
what makes
those
sense to me.
that might have joined later, all of this is the bonus course that everyone gets access to. Is there's, I don't know, probably 10, 12 hours of training, including doing this on live market, that breaks this down in excruciating detail. So if you have signed up for live trade signals, you have received an email specifically about accessing a how to build a trade strategy course. You have access to it. You got to go log in and access it there. If you haven't signed up for the live trade signals as part of your trial, I don't know what you're waiting for. I
Yeah,
mean, literally
crazy.
have been,
You know what we're up? I don't know, 30 something
like
points or something
30 something points in the
on the
past few
S&P.
days.
Yeah.
Literally, if you were trading just micros, you have paid for it. So, I
The
don't know what
silliest
you're
thing
thinking.
we've ever offered. I can't
Yeah.
believe like 1 million people haven't signed up for it. It's so funny.
Plus, it's $1,000 course where literally there are people on this
It,
webinar
and,
today
and
that paid
I,
$1,000 for that
yeah,
course.
literally, there are people. Ty was in the webinar. There were people in the webinar that paid for the webinar and the course. I mean, and they're on the webinar with us today, and they paid full price for it. It's the silliest thing we've ever offered. It's not really $1,000 course. It's like It's like $1.5 million course, because what I'm teaching you is what took me 10 years and losing $1.5 million in trading to figure out all the things not to do and then what to do. And we really do live what we preach here at Day Trade Like a Pro. Like, we're all traders. We all trade. Like, every one of us are traders. I'm not going to say we trade every single day, but we trade. We don't just talk about trading. Selling it for $1,000 was because we wanted to help traders. It's not $1,000 course. It's my entire life as a trader distilled into a course, and I'm literally teaching you all the best things that I know about how to read the market and how to trade it. And at some point, I mean, like, we knew way over here at 7 o'clock, we knew that this was a potential area to come back to buy. So when the market dropped down here, yes, I want to buy that. And at the same time, one of the things Jaime taught in a course that he taught was, at the same time this was happening, that's at 10:25. Look what's happening on the NASDAQ. Look what's happening right here at 10:25. Look where the NASDAQ is coming down to. A T4. Coincidence, probably, but a good coincidence and kind of nice. It's my favorite thing. If anybody's in MAP, I always think at some point the people are, yeah, confluence. I always think the people in MAP at one point are going to quit and, like, quit MAP because they're tired of hearing me say that's probably a coincidence. But I am literally doing it so that they start to go, yeah, it's probably not a coincidence, right? Michael's question is the course that's included. The course that's included with the live trade signals trial is the course that I taught on basically all the stuff that I do in MAP.
I'll put a link to the course in the chat for
Yeah,
everyone for the
great,
actual
thank you.
course. It's on our homepage. You can go look at it. That's the course. And again, if you signed up for live trade signals through the NinjaTrader webinar, you received an email with login details and exactly how to get there. And if you still can't get there, send an email to support@daytradelikeapro.com and the team will get you in the right spot.
Aaron was pointing out that this big breakout that happened at the open ran right up to the CP. Yeah, it did. It's pretty amazing how, to me, I've been doing this for a long time. I still am just amazed by it. It's just so incredible how it works, and that it even works. But you can see there's plenty of opportunities. Those are just some of the trades that we pointed out in live trade signals. I mean, look at all the opportunities here. So here's the opportunity that we talked about earlier, right? And then this is just during the RTH. I mean, you could have, let's see, where's the open? There's the open. Could buy the CP on the open, all right? You could have bought here, you could have bought here. We knew we were going higher. I mean, we knew that because of the way we mapped it out. It came up here, we could have bought here. We knew that we had this target up here, comes up to that target. You could have bought either of these, doesn't really matter. And then move up to there. And then if you did buy here, which is pretty high in the day to be buying after that big move up, but if you did buy here, there's plenty of time to take it off at break even, not getting back above the CP, or minimize your loss a lot. Here, big move up there, take it off at break even, buy it here or buy it there. And then there's a move up, and then you could buy it there. And then it comes down, it does hold right here, not getting above here. All right, they want lower. This was pretty obvious that they were going to come down. So let me just show you one of the things we talked about. Very last thing, I think. Let me show you something we talked about a lot. So what's used and what's not used? Used. Not really used yet here. I would say these, yes. So, well, this one, this, so I'd say the pink one has not really been tested here yet. And then the purple one is, and then the green one is tested here, you know, really 2 times. And then this doesn't really get, once it breaks, it doesn't come back and retest it, but it goes right through it and then comes back up and retests. So even if you were long, depending on how you're managing your stop, you could have just gotten out. So what am I looking at? I'm not buying any of these. So I'm not buying, like, you could buy that if you wanted, it's the most aggressive, but I already know that all of these got buyers here, buyers there, maybe there, but I didn't think so. And then the buyers were already here. Where's the next place where buyers are going to be? Down here. Because it's not been tested yet. They didn't come back. There wasn't a break and a retest of this level and then a move up from it. So that's what makes sense. So this area for buying still made tons of sense, even though the market sold off very hard into it. And if you did the other course where we talked about trading like a bank, I would say, especially because the market sold off hard into it, it made it that much better of a trade. Okay. So I just want to show you, like, this was all mapped out. We knew back over here that it was very possible that the market would come back over here. That's why we kept the trade valid. Okay. That's what I'd say to you about it. All right. If you have questions about what courses and whatever,
send an email to
support at Day Trade Like a Pro. So look, I hope that you feel like you drank from a fire hydrant just now, and we're going to come back. We're going to go over a lot of things. We want you to come with questions. So as you have questions over the next 3 weeks, make sure you're bringing those questions to us, and we want to spend our time answering your questions and going over this. And we just want to show you that there's a better way to do it than losing money every day. So I've done it that way, and it's not really any fun doing it that way. So I'd recommend doing it this way. It seems to be working out. Okay. Drew, you want to know how we do the targets? Go sign up for the live trade signals, and we give you a course that's $1,000 course that we sold just a couple months ago, and we'll give you the course. It's $147 for the live trade signals trial, and we're giving you the course for free, lifetime access to the course. And there's like 10 or 12 hours of going over this. Plus, there's other things that we didn't even get to dive into today. So let me just stress that again. David, can we just send that to everybody? Where's the...
Yep. I just posted the link. I just posted the link in the chat. Let me just reiterate. If you've already signed up for Live Trade Signals, you already have access to this course, and there's an email that goes through that. If you don't see that email, let us know at support@daytradelikeapro.com. If you have not signed up for Live Trade Signals, the link is posted in the chat for you to go click on that and sign that up. This offer will probably keep it open for another day, maybe 2 tops, and then we're going to close that. So I would, if you're thinking about it, get off the fence and just go get it done.
Yeah, and Michael was in the course. He said he paid for the original course. And Michael, we made all that up, right? It was never $997 for the course. It was You know, the course was $9.97, and there's a bunch of people here that paid that for it, and we're giving it to you for $147, and we're giving you the live trade signals. Someone should
Which
stop
paid for
us. We're out of
itself.
control. Yeah.
By trading micros.
And you could have paid for the trial by trading micros. I mean, this doesn't seem like a hard thing to sell here. We're doing it because we want to help you guys. It's not because we're getting rich selling courses, okay? And it does cost money to run a company. We're looking forward to having everybody here. It's been really great seeing all the new people. Keep your questions coming. Send emails to support. You obviously should be in the Discord room. Ask any questions you have there. Go get in the live trade signals. I literally just can't stress that enough, okay? And then we'll be back here doing the same thing, same time next week. And thanks everybody for being here.
And just one thing, just one last comment, guys. If you have any questions at all about the markets or trading or targets or prediction points, put them in the Discord chat. That is such a huge contribution to everyone else. If you have the question, I'm sure others have the question, and it's a really great way for everyone to learn and understand the methodology as we all pull this together. So please engage in that Discord community, ask your questions there, and we'll make sure that we get them all addressed. All right. Thanks, everyone. That's a wrap.
Okay,
We'll get the
thanks.
recording out soon. Thanks, Ephraim.
Okay.
All right. Bye, all.